Modern's MTGO Creator Showdown just ended. And why is that important? Well, in this tournament, Nadu was banned, so it's the first glimpse we get at what it could be the meta in Modern without Nadu. That, with no doubt, is getting banned. It's just a matter of time. Fingers crossed. We've seen very interesting decks, nothing out of the ordinary that we didn't know already. I think the biggest winners are the mono black deck, precisely perhaps the blue-black frog. People call it control or Morktide, blue-black. To me, it's a Dimir Tempo, if anything, featuring frog, Morktide, and a lot of counter spells to protect them, as well as some Orthis Bowmasters, just because of the value in the control and the mirror matchup. In any case, let's go and dive a bit. We're gonna cover all the lists that were 5-1 or better. 5-1 or 6-0, the guy that won. So going from the bottom up, from Vigati, let's go into them. Dimir of Vigati, okay? This is what I'm talking about. Morktide, Orsis, Frog, Subtlety. This is the Tempo Dimir that we were talking about. Morktide, Frog, Orsis, Bowmasters. But Subtlety is a creature, okay? And can win games. But it's mostly a way to gain some tempo, convoking it. Then Preordain, Modern still needs a better cantrip, I would say. The energy decks just use the energy cantrip just because it's energy, but Preordain still, it's been the best for what, 10 years? Consider another cantrip, counter spells, draw on the log, particularly common in the meta right now. Instant speed spell in the Dimir archetype. You need to be Dimir, is the only thing, but besides that, you can even counter a target spell or destroy a target creature, okay? Fatal Push, one of the best removals in the meta. It hits almost anything. For some negation, Spell Pierce and Spell Elnar, these last two, perhaps being something that normally we don't see in list, but we see them in this Dimir deck. Why? Because it's a tempo deck. So by having 1 mana spells, you can have Morktide or a Frog and just protect them with 1 spell, or protect you from enemy Orthis Master or their spell just with 1 mana. So particularly interesting. I like it a lot. Then the land, we're gonna cover them and gonna link, in the description the whole deck list. You just need to go to anywhere you want and click there, and then click on the deck list, and you can check it there in more detail. But the sideboard, Break the Ice versus Tron matchups, because into memory. This counters a trigger spell or a Corro Res, so can be good versus the One Ring, can be good versus Storm. Some people use it to counter the trigger of their own One Ring. Can be good versus the Ruby Melon, also versus Storm. So particularly good in the meta right now. Another Force of Negation, a lot of people use this. You have 1 on the sideboard just to fill up in case of Force of Negation being good, particularly versus matchups like combo. Mystical Dispute, if you are fighting blue. Narset, just for value, for other control matchups or mirrors. Stem Scolding, again, they're going back to the 1 mana, having it up, being very efficient, because this deck works with 3 mana pretty well. Obviously with 4 mana is better, because then you can have Morktide, right, and then counter spell. But the idea is that, right, and with 3 mana you're already doing many good things. Surgical Extraction versus combo. I know people may overboard it versus, I don't know, to remove the frogs more times in the mirror, but I always thought that was a bad. But the idea and toss is the Lutz versus minion decks. I'm gonna cover the sideboard a bit less in detail in the future. Just that I like this blue-black a lot. Nothing out of ordinary, right? Over here. Let's go to the next list. Next list from Caleb. I recommend you watching him play versus Scale Control. He's on the bots on his stream, because that game was insane. I'm not gonna spoil you. That game was insane, okay? Go watch that. It was the last one, or I think it was the previous one to the last one, okay? You can check the bot and watch the 2 last ones. Fucking insane, let me tell you. Caleb played really well there. The Board of Destiny and Rakul, Microspan started to it started to be in the meta for a while in MTGO, but pretty interesting, because you can search for a land. If it's kick, maybe you can just destroy a land in a Tron matchup. Then it's in Steerings, very good value that gives you being green. Malevolent Rumble, we saw this in the Pro Tour for Nadu, because again, it's like Ace in Steers. It's a good searching engine. Cutler's Command, this is the key why Tron is back. Cutler's Command is amazing. It does so many things. It helps you ramp, it helps you find the top deck you need, it helps you champ block, it helps you interact with the opponent. Cutler's Return, maybe he was expecting a lot of Boros, and that's why main board. Then Talisman varies. Obviously, you're gonna be green, you're gonna have one of these, but particularly you have Cutler's Return. But yeah, Talisman is very common, right? Then One Ring, nothing out of the ordinary. Utopia Sprawn, really, hey, one of the classics, what can I say? Caleb being a cube enjoyer, I can see that, right? Being the Utopia Sprawn. I'm not gonna say this is good or bad, it's kind of interesting. I think it punishes you more for in matchups where the opponent interacts with your lands. But saying that, I'm a Death and Taxes player, and that deck is out, so might as well fucking YOLO, right? 3 Blood Moon. I've seen the Blood Moon in decks with Bridge. Okay, with Bridge, you don't give a fuck about Blood Moon. Now, having it here, I guess it's for matchups like a Control, where you just go super long and you don't care about that. But I think it's kind of wild. If you have a Through the Bridge in the sideboard and you put 3 and 3, and you remove one of your lower end, I will see that. But I know, here is kind of wild, honestly. More Cutler's Return, pick your poison, just a good all-around sideboard. Ulamog, I guess for grinding matchups. Veil of the Summer versus blue decks. And Weather the Storm. Against this versus Storm, you just cast this when the Storm is 20, they are grape shotting you to the face, and you just cast this and unlucky. Again, like 21 times 3, no? It's not bad, I guess. Kind of spicy sideboard, kind of spicy deck by Caleb, but no surprise, he's a spicy guy. Next we have Elisa. This is a energy deck that the core of it is like Boros, but has some spicy things. Adjani, God of Souls, Ocelot Pride, Plates, Ravagan, and Galvanic Discharge, nothing out of the ordinary. Maybe you're missing a bit more of energy package, but you have Science of Dragon. Okay, because you have a lot of different lands, is the idea, combined with the Leyline of the Guild Pack that makes the all the lands are every type of land, and Leyline of Binding very efficient with that. So I guess this is a big threat for very little mana. Once you have enough lands of the count is different, so it's gonna be very good. Then the Terrorlitial Kabu, similar with Domain. Okay, because you have that Domain, is gonna be a big threat. And when it attacks, you can choose. You discard a card, you draw, and exile a one target card from a graveyard. So I know, a bit of graveyard hate, a bit of cycling through your deck. Kinda spicy. Sideboard Celestial Ports, very common in blue decks. I guess because you have every color anyway, you just go Consume to Memory, that we mentioned that was very good in the meta. Dampening Sphere. Works versus Tron and works versus Storm. Magistrate can call a spell from anywhere other than their hands. This counters Evoke, as well as it counters things like Level End. High Noon. This player can cast more than one spell each turn. I think this card is... I've seen this card in Standard. It's pretty wild that people play in Standard. Versus normal decks, not even post sideboard. But yeah, versus Storm, right? Another... the Companion. Nihil Spellbomb. Rest in Peace, Graveyard Hate, Stubborn Denial. With these big boys, it makes a lot of sense. I wonder if you don't want those in main board. Maybe it's a bit too much. Sun Glisser versus Energy. Unlimited Hearts. I played this in Standard. It's pretty good answer versus Graveyard because you just keep going. And it's an artifact. I think that most that kills artifacts, most things that could kill a Rest in Peace are gonna kill an artifact, or people are gonna expect you to put in an artifact anyway. I think that you can always queue it and hit for big, so in an aggro deck or more aggro deck, I guess this makes more sense. Interesting deck regardless, very interesting, and did very well. There is life after Nadu and it looks beautifully. Elf Kid, Spanish content creator, with a Living End. When people forget about the graveyard, Living End, Dredge, this type of decks come in. And they're gonna come in and out after Nadu ban, as I bet. Maybe people are gonna start adapting now that they've start seeing them. There was Living End also at the Pro Tour. There was Javier Dominguez playing against it. Good match too. We covered that in the YouTube. channel in the Pro Tour games. So maybe people are gonna start putting more Graveyard Head, more Surgicals, more Rest in Peace. Then these decks will disappear for a while and then come back. It's the game of Modern that we always experience, right? I can't say much about this deck. Obviously, it has Grief now because it dies and then goes to a graveyard and it uses a 3/2 menace already, and it gives you protection for your combo. Subtlety, right? Also making an apparition. Basically, what you want in this deck is all the costs to be more than 3. Okay, so when you cascade, you hit Living End. That is the only spell you can cast. And all these things that you cycle and you cast and you discard and you convoke will come back to life. Force of Negation to protect. Sink into the support. Can be a protection, it's mostly a land. Ardent Plea is another of the cascade enablers, along with the Angel. For sideboard, Borrower, return target on land permanent and opponent controls to his own hand for 2 mana. Okay, so I've been checking the cost will be the 3 mana. The adventure cost is not the cost. So you cascade because it's still 3, it's still below Darden Plea and Sunny Angel. It will work. Now you put just a 3/1. Well, it's a 3/1 flyer, so I guess it's fine. And maybe if there is Graveyard Head, you just put this also, you can just flash it. You never know, right? Commandeer, you might exile 2 blue cards to play the spell mana cost. It's control target non-creature spell. So a bit more of protection. Endurance, this was also in the Pro Tour Living End list, so nothing new here. Foundation Breaker against Enchantment and Artifacts, Alena of the Void, and Mystical Dispute for more protection versus blue decks. The sideboard so far tells you a lot about how the meta is. A lot of blue, a lot of interaction. I like a lot of the Grief and Subtlety. Maybe people think they're overpowered, and they kinda are. But they bring something good to Modern. There's so much back and forward, so much interaction. Combo decks, defending themselves against control defending themselves against aggro. It's a cool game that we only saw in Legacy before, and I think that's the very good positive thing about the Modern meta right now. The negative thing I would say is like one ring maybe into strong and maybe the meta being very thin compared to previous Moderns, but we'll see, right? Just a note there. Next is Gorthon with a Mardu list. That the Mardu list is gonna surprise you, perhaps not. And the Mardu list we saw in the Pro Tour had the Nightmare, the enchantment to keep back and forward. You could combo having a Yanni, 2 Ayanis, so you could bring a Yanni, sacrifice 1 Ayani, or sacrifice 1 cat, flip the Ayani, bring the other Ayani, right? Back and forward. That was very interesting, but I guess it's like maybe too much fantasy, too much hopes. So this Mardu instead has the Ordis Bondmaster, that's very good value. It adds Omnixilis. People say this card is good. I play this in a standard, I think it's a piece of trash. I'm gonna say, I think this card sucks dick. But people like 3 mana Planeswalker. I like them too. I just don't understand how this is good. So we'll have to see it. But again, when I first saw Ayane, I was like, okay, good card, I guess. But then when I start seeing Boros Energy in action, I was like, holy shit. So I'm probably wrong about this one. People love this card. I'm just saying, I think this is I prefer the Nightmare, honestly. The rest is Raptor, Ayani, God of Souls, Ocelot, Bowmasters, because it's black, Plates, Rabagan, Galvanic Discards, and Standing Prison. So completely ordinary otherwise. Celestial Purge, typical in white. Sideboards, Dampening Sphere, Magistrate, we covered that already. The Companion. Charmo, for its land, you produce opponent's control and produce on colorless, right? Tron can be a okay matchup, I guess, because you have a clock, but it can get hard when they start putting blockers with the Scions and things like that, and they gain a lot of time. Some cleanses, Surgical Extraction, Vexing Bubble. The Vexing Bubble, again, is the other answer that you can have versus Living End, but normally people don't bring it versus Living End. But Convoke and Nadu the list have this. Have it? Can we say like Nadu is dead already? Ah, no, rest in peace, I guess. But they will bring this with Ultra Saga to protect themselves against like Solitude or Subtlety. So very interesting Vexing Bubble. It's 1 mana cost, so makes sense it's an aggro deck. In the top 2, Maria with the Dimir Frog Tempo, exactly Tempo. Thank God on Kali control. These people know how to play Magic, right? Morktide, I mean, they have Nether Goyf. This one will never be considered control, but Orthis Bowmaster, Seek's Frog, Subtlety, and if I like Nether Goyf, it's another threat. But man, the Frog is just so good. You want to just put down the Frog and protect it. But while saying that, is 1 mana. In the mirror, I bet this destroys. Because in the mirror, you're gonna saturate your opponent with threats, and they will have the answers just having a lot of counter spells. So that's the thing, right? Sometimes you wanna be good in the mirror. Sometimes you're gonna be good versus certain things. And in other metas, you want more protection versus combo or whatever, right? Preordain, counter spell, Tron in the logs, 4 of them, pretty aggressive, 4 fatal push, 2 negations, 1 sink into support. I like this card a lot because it can be a land or cannot be a land. 1 spell pierce, 2 spell snare, we're more balanced, but again, it has Nether Goyf. I don't know if there can be, one list maybe with not so many spell pierce and spell snare, or maybe something else. You don't want either to have too many Morktide, or even that the physic frog defeats them. I have to guess the Nether Goyf and Morktide don't go that well together. So it's interesting. Can this be a Death Shadow list instead of Nether Goyf? Maybe with dismembers, but you don't want to go dismembers. The Streetwide is not banned yet, You can cycle Streetwide, maybe, instead of the Nether Goyfs and have shadows too. I have to guess, we'll have to see how this type of list evolves. We'll see. Midrange Bubbles already, right? It feels the Nether Goyfs and it's a cantrip, so it makes a lot of sense. Consider to Minery Heartbringer of the Seas. Interesting cyborg. I love it. I just love it. Only 1 swamp. Honestly, you have Heartbringer of the Seas. So you want 2 swamps, 1 island. And you don't have double black cost, but maybe you want sometimes to. It's a mostly blue deck. Maybe you don't want the 1 swamp. It's just Heartbringer in the Seas. Maybe sometimes, you might wanna. But anyway, the blue moon, blood moon. So I think it's very good. Legal Spellbomb, Sten Scalding, 3 of them. Subtlety, Surgical Extraction, and only 1. And Toxic Deluge. Pretty interesting sideboard. Very focused versus Jeskai. Heartbringer is very good. Sten Scalding can work versus Snapcaster or can work versus Orthis Bowmaster in the mirror. Can work versus Aggro 2. Subtlety and extra subtlety and surgical only having 1. But you have 2 spell bombs, so I guess it's fine versus things like combo decks that use the graveyard. And the winner, Island Go Same. Yes, say that right. Or Island Go SA me. I don't get the joke. Don't get the reference. Card the Great Creator is a Tron list. Less Prison, because it has the green for Warbreaker and the micro spawn. That's again getting to the meta more. Honestly, I love the Prison one more, but the Prison's decks tend to be bad. I know we had Lantern at some point in mod and all that, but they don't tend to be as good. Okay, you want to be more, have more action, right? Have more be the one being the aggressor rather than being so reactionary. The Warrior of Destiny, very common too. 4 Throne of Seers, maybe this is not that common. Obviously with the Labyrinth and obviously the Temple, but that's like, Temple was before, right? Now that with the Labyrinth, the Throne of Seers turn 2, turn 3, particularly turn 3 is better, but still on the draw sometimes is very slow. On a mod, the Thirsty Hunger, 1 World Breaker, we mentioned it because of the green. Alice Dust, 1 Dismember, Witchmember, Cothless Command. Again, this is just, you run 4 all the time. This is just the best card. And it's one of the reasons why Tron is back. Expedition Map, Talisman. Again, it depends. I guess you just pick the cheap one, no? Just plus green. Honestly, you will want to. At this point, I think they just pick it just because to be different, no? Well, it can save you your Dismember, I guess. Right? It can save you some points of life versus aggro. So maybe he chooses this one because of that. I have to guess that maybe you want red and have a Cothless for the fantasy. But in any case, yeah, just one that gives green and whatever other color, no? The other ring, only 3. The thing is that with this cyborg, right? Chalice of the Void, where is the Trinosphere? Trinosphere down here. It used to be in the main board not so long ago, but card searches for a card in the cyborg. So hey, you face whatever you wanna storm, no? You have 1 Chalice for 2. You just bring it with Karn, right? Basically. So because of that, he has a lot of one-offs. Destroy up to one target non-land permanent. If control creates a tapped Power Stone token with Unearth. Honestly, I think this card is just, what the hell. The Flute, we knew that one is not in Bridge. I fucking love it. Might. Look, Metal Coating makes a land an artifact because it says target permanent becomes an artifact. Permanent. Then, with Can, you +1 that artifact, right? Because it has 0 mana cost, and it dies. Okay? So, you're basically a prison deck that can destroy lands now, all of a sudden. With Snaring Bridge, with Flute, with Chalice of the Void. You're a prison deck. And I like that plan a lot on Tron. Sundering Titan. And this is a classic. Right? This is a classic. I know, maybe with fantasy, but hey, who knows? Maybe he actually cast that. Silex. It's non-land permanent. It's like explosives, no? Another One Ring. The Storm Brain. The Storm Brain is against... it's a hate versus combo. And, you know, just to remove a card that you choose. Tormod Script versus Graveyard. Tuning Sphere. And then Walking Babilista. I have to guess they bring this versus control because of its value. Always been good versus control. And Worm Coil Engine. Another classic. So pretty interesting list. For the win, right? For the winner of the tournament. Nothing out of the ordinary. What we're seeing now is the more inclusion of green with showing micro spawn. I have to guess that this card is performing very, very well. Honestly, I normally don't like Tron. As I said before, I used to be like Death and Taxes type of deck. And Death and Taxes and Tron were just enemies, right? We're like England and the rest of the world, I guess. And I know. Playing Tron feels like betraying. Playing Merfolk feels like betraying. But honestly, from the super competitive decks, I like this Tron a lot because of this hate options in the sideboard. The Snaring Bridge, the go thing to destroy lands is super cool. And honestly, the Cautelous Command is also a very fun card, along with the One Ring that you can do turn 3, very strong, right? So very good deck. And yeah, with Nadu out of the meta, with fast combos like that not only they're fast, but they're very resilient. I guess we're gonna see more Tron, that it's on the mid-range decks that maybe could have a good matchup, but Nadu is still being so broken that you win even if it's a matchup that is not that good versus the Sky Control or versus mid-range. And those Sky Control, those mid-range, if Nadu gets banned, which it will, they're gonna be like, okay, now we're free, now we can, you know, we can go for a fair game. Then comes Tron and it's like, okay, back to reality with you, right? Back to reality with you. So, very interesting tournament. Is a way to keep an eye on the modern format and how it is right now. Post Nadu ban, and obviously I hope they ban it fast and we can keep seeing a very fun modern, because this event was very fun. The model that it was shown here was very fun. And I just can't wait for have more of that. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.